ensure that we get our partners trained on every product and solution that ZKTeco has to offer. So today on our training, we have a collaboration with our subsidiaries from South Africa, like most of you might have known. So this training session is going to be about ZKBioSecurity and all-in-one biometric security solution. And as a during the course of this presentation today, we're going to be looking at biosecurity as an all-in-one solution, and also we'll be looking at some of the visible light products, recommended products that would work with biosecurity to give you an all-in-one and a turnkey security solution. To handle this session, I have myself and two other of my colleagues from South Africa. We have Mr. Joseph Matabane, and we have Rotondo Mblawa. Joseph and Roto, can you please say hi to our partners in Nigeria, please? You can get your video.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. Nice to hear from you. We didn't see the face of Joseph and Roto. We hope during the presentation we're going to see their faces. So, with that being the case, let's dive into the session proper. First, we'll be looking at the solution. Like we've discussed before now, ZKBioSecurity is an all-in-one web-based security solution. And that being the case, it has over 10 modules integrated to deliver a turnkey solution, an all-in-one solution for security. We have the time attendance, we have the consumption, the parking, video linkage, visitor management, guard patrol, hotel, access control, elevator control, to mention a few. These are just some of the modules of what we have on biosecurity. And because it's a web-based solution, it's something that you can use to manage business with different needs, different solutions, and different requirements. As we can see here, it's a platform that gives you visibility and the option for you to upscale. And what you can see is just a quick screenshot of the features of ZKBioSecurity and what they offer, which would be diving into proper during the course of this session. It's flexible. It's a solution that would serve various needs depending on the client's specification. Now, talking about the modules and the feature, we have the personnel management. For the personnel management feature, my colleague from South Africa branch will be doing justice to that. So please, Roto, want to go ahead with this.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you can see me now. Okay.
Yes, we can.
So ZKBioSecurity has different modules. Okay. Has different modules. So the module that I'm going to discuss with you here is the personnel module. Okay. So on the personnel module, that is where you set up your departments. You can also set up your personnel. So that is how you build up the architecture of the company. You need to link your personnel to the departments. Okay, so under the personnel module, that is where you set up everything. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. Josh, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so if you can see on the slide, our ZKBioSecurity has a user-friendly registration interface. So on the interface, that is where you can register your personnel. You can use different biometrics depending on what you want. For example, the fingerprint, you can enroll using the palm, you can enroll also the faces. And it also supports various card format like EM, MyFair, HID proximity, etc. Okay, so let's move forward, please. Okay, so our system you can also view the statistics on our system, where you can view the number of personnel that you have on the system. You can view the fingerprint templates, the facial template, the finger vein if you've enrolled with a finger vein, the card number, and also the gender. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, so we have various verification mode on our system. So it gives you an opportunity to select whatever you want. We have verification mode like passwords. You can use a password to enroll yourself. You can use a card. You can use biometrics like print, facials, palm, and finger vein. So it gives you an opportunity to select whatever you want. Okay, so on this slide, my co-host, Josh, will explain further.
Okay, so another thing that you can also do for your personnel model of biosecurity is integrating OCR readers. By OCR readers, we are talking about optical recognition. So we understand that some partners, they have businesses in busy places like ports, port facilities, place of entrance. And in such places, you have people coming in with their passports. So biosecurity can be integrated with on the other products OCR, optical character recognition, such that you can read templates from things like your passport, your national ID card, and these templates are automatically captured from the ID card and populated on the personnel module features of biosecurity. This is one features that ZKBioSecurity will have, because we understand that we might not be able to have products for all need. We also, because we understand that is why our system allow you to be able to integrate other products like OCR products that you can use for document capturing and scanning. Then still on that, we have the batch import and export. So for those who are more interested in flexibility, they want to be able to do import and export of employees' photo without having to do it one after the other. We understand it's a very strenuous task for you to be picking, importing pictures one after the other. With the batch import and export, you can upload employee photo in quick succession, saving you time and energy, and of course, resources too. So for current customers who already have AD, Active Directory servers that they use in managing their internal process, ZKBioSecurity can also integrate with this Active Directory server for you to be able to use your current directories on biosecurity. So you can export this directory so that you don't have to recreate or start creating a different column. With your current Active Directory module, you can integrate it, and all feeds that are currently captured as a database point in your Active Directory are integrated on biosecurity, and they are populated automatically on biosecurity. So this is still on the Active Directory synchronization. So giving you the flexibility. Roto.
Okay, so our system also supports various languages, so you can choose the language of preference. We support English, Spanish, Korean, Russian, Indonesian, etc. So you can select the language of your preference, okay? Okay, so on the system, you can also monitor the system. Like, for example, if you want to keep or you want to monitor the speed of your server and the computer. So the system, our ZKBioSecurity can allow you to do that. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so the software also supports the app. So Josh will explain further on this one.
So for these app features of the software, we understand that mobile phone is one of the mostly used commodity that almost everybody, in fact, everybody uses these days. And for staff who are currently in an organization, so let's assume you are onboarding a staff in a different location. What the staff literally need to do is just to take a snapshot or a photo using his camera, and that camera becomes his bio photo that the staff will use for registration. So automatically your display picture on that biosecurity mobile application on your phone will become your biophoto that you use to access the facility. So by your picture, the staff gets to the head office because he has been registered at the branch. He used his photo as an access, and this can be achievable on our visible light products. Then also, we talk about import and export, like we earlier mentioned. You don't have to worry about that. You can choose the columns you want to see, and you can export these reports and columns in Excel, CSV, and PDF format, giving you the option of flexibility. So if you want to report or your employees' details to come in different formats, you just have to choose the column. You want their personnel ID to be displayed. You want their first name to display. You want their agenda to display or their job title. However you want your display to be, you choose the column you want, and you can also export it that you can use for other purposes for your database management. Also working with your Active Directory, as we've earlier mentioned. Then, like we discussed about before, photo importation and exportation system for employee management. So bulk upload, you want to be able to, from your system, use employee bulk upload to populate your employees' photos such that every employee has a photo of them. And the beautiful thing about this is that once your employee photos are uploaded on biosecurity, every time they use their face as a clock in, it automatically shows the photo that has been updated, giving you a picture view of who your staff is. Then my colleague Roto will be talking on the access control features of biosecurity. Roto, please.
Okay, so on the access features of our system, we have global linkage. Okay, so global linkage is a process that defines specific actions for triggering events at specific doors. Okay, so let's say, for example, you can close or lock down the whole building by just activating a single trigger. Okay, so that is how global linkage works. So you can also link the linkage with the photos or the camera, where, for example, if you open a door, if it's a normal verification, then a camera should take a picture or a video. So that is how global linkage work. Okay, so let's move on. If Josh wants to add something on global linkage, they can do that. Okay, so let's move on to global anti-passback. So global anti-passback is a system or a security feature that allows or prevents people from using the same access card. Okay, so let's say, for example, you try to access the door and then you want to share a card with your employee or your coworker. Okay, so you won't be able to do that because this feature allows you to go out first before you come in again. So it's a very important feature on security management. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so lastly, on access control, I'm going to speak about the global interlock. So the global interlock allows you to control personnel from opening various doors or opening more than one door. Okay, so this feature is used mostly in banks, where, for example, it's a man trap. When you open the door, the outside door, the door leading to the bank will be closed. So obviously, when you close the outside door, the door leading to the bank will be open. So that is how it works. It works as man trap. So you can set this up on different doors of your building. Okay. So let's move on. All right. So whose inside function enables users to see who is inside a room. Okay. You'll be able to see, for example, if someone is inside the boardroom, or for example, if someone is in reception. So you'll be able to see the number of people inside that specific room or area. Okay.
So who is inside function is something you can also use to monitor the number of people at a specific place. So let's assume the boardroom has a sitting capacity of 20. Who is inside can also give you an insight into the number of people, the capacity, if it's filled or not. We should also be talking about using other LED product that is available on the market to be able to know. As a matter of fact, with who is this inside feature, you can even get an LED displaying the person that is inside and their names. This can also be integrated with other LED product that works with the who is inside feature of biosecurity. Roto.
Okay, so the access limitation works like the occupancy control, okay? So this is where you manage the people that have to be inside the room. Let's say, for example, a room needs or occupies only 5 people, okay? So it allows you to manage the people inside the room. If it allows 5 people, 1 person has to go out in order for someone to go inside. So this feature works fine with the COVID regulations. So on this feature, I think it's a perfect feature for COVID protocol in order to go with the regulations and all that. So let's move to the next part. Okay, so on the EMAP, that is where you will be able to manage or to see where your events are happening. So you'll be able to see or to locate where the devices are, and also to see where the events are actually happening. Okay, so you can load a map on the system, and then you can assign different devices on the areas that are the devices are located at. Okay. You can move forward. Okay, so our system also allow you to add different time zones. Okay, you can add different time zones and also set different verification modes to those time zones. So on our time zones, we have different intervals. You can set up your intervals depending on what you want to do. Okay, and then you can select different verification modes. Like for example, if you want to use a PIN or you want to use a fingerprint, you can also select that. So that we have a door verification and also personnel verification at a particular time or at a particular time zone. Okay.
So on this time zone still, another thing you can also do with it, you can set certain specific time zone to use certain specific verification, like Roto discussed about on. So let's assume in this case, you want in the morning, when staff come in, they can only use their face to access. So that verification group become applicable on certain time zone. On certain time, let's say in the afternoon, staff will have to use their card and password to authenticate. So this can also be added to the time zone and card face fingerprint verification function that comes with biosecurity. Then we have some auxiliary input and output that you can also use for integration to biosecurity. For auxiliary input and outputs, for input, we are talking about devices that can be connected, third-party devices, like we have contact sensors, PIRO sensors, intrusion alarms, and the like. These are auxiliary inputs that you can use on biosecurity. Why for auxiliary outputs, we have other devices that you can also connect, like the LED light I talked about, the buzzers, the burglary alarms, and a whole lot of other products that you can use for integration into your auxiliary sensors, such that you use biosecurity as not only for ZKBioSecurity products, but even for third-party products. Then still on other products we talk about the LED display. These are LED display panels that you can use, like I mentioned earlier, for the who is inside function. So with such LED display, like you see there, it can give you a display of who is inside certain facility, giving you their name. And with such name, you're able to know who is inside. This function can work very well with our customers in the hospital and healthcare facilities. So the doctors is perhaps maybe with a patient, you can get to see the patient number or the patient name if you want to go further. And you can have such LED displaying who is next in line in view of visiting who is next in line to see the doctors. These are functions that you can have with biosecurity, integrating with other products. Then for real-time monitoring that we're talking about, people want to know what is happening in their business, and ZKBioSecurity gives you that option whereby you can do video linkage and it's able to capture a certain time. So you want to set a linkage such that when a certain door is open, the camera gives you a trigger or takes a snapshot, linking different access or CCTV to access to give you a real-time monitoring of your system, showing you all detailed situation using the mapping, the active lockdown features that my colleague talked about earlier, and other features that biosecurity gives you the option to use. Yet another feature is the remote lockdown. We understand that as much as security is of private concern, sometimes we have a situation that might warrant a facility to be locked down. With ZKBioSecurity, we have the remote lockdown feature where the administrator can remotely shut all doors or lock down selective doors and keep some door open. So in events of fire, the lockdown can be set such that doors that are leading to the exit becomes automatically open for everybody on the inside the facility to exit, while sensitive doors to places like vaults and other sensitive areas are locked and cannot be accessed even by certain staff or almost all staff, and can be accessed by selected few people. These are functions that you can achieve with the remote lockdown feature. Yet another is the transaction export we talked about. Transaction auto export. So you want to get a real-time report on what has been happening, the log on who accessed what, who accessed where, and what time, the timing and time attendance. With the auto export function, you can set your report template such that at certain given time of the day or certain given time of the week or of the month of the year, these reports are automatically exported and sent to you. And we have certain custom rules for various departments. For most of our clients, we understand that they deal with companies that have diverse operations. Clients might tell you, in this company, department ABC has a different rule from department DEF. As such, what applies to department ABC doesn't apply to department DEF. With biosecurity, you can set custom rules to various departments such that what affects one department does not necessarily affect another. These are just some custom rules you can set on biosecurity. Then we have limiting entry by time zone. So with this, we understand some staff might be working on weekdays while others will be working on the weekend. You can use the time zone function to schedule your timing such that a staff that should not be on duty on certain time zone will not get access on that time zone. So when you set your time zone, if I'm working in the office and I'm not meant to be in the office on the weekdays, I have not been there. I don't have access to the office based on the time zone that has been set for me. Other functions is the terminals that products work with, the green label product, which my colleague from South Africa, Joseph, will be discussing much on later. Then another feature for biosecurity is the time attendance feature. We know we've said that biosecurity is an all-in-one security solution. For the time attendance feature, you have a whole lot of features to work with. We have multi-level overtime. We have shift, flexible shift, auto shift, rotational shift. Different shifts can be achieved with ZKTeco biosecurity timing. And for those who are very particular about multiple locations, so you have an office that's a company rather that owns an office in Lagos, being the head office, but has several branches in different regions, and they want to be able to monitor this diverse and remote location. With biosecurity multi-location, you can monitor time attendance from all these various locations without worry. For the access control and APR attendance tracking, it can be set such that for staff or employees who are working in that organization, because their staff, their license plate of their vehicle has been pre-programmed using LPRO cameras inside the car park for integration to attendant. So the minute the staff parks his car into the car park, the LPRO camera is able to note that number plate and gives a prompt that this staff is in the premise, and it can be used for time attendance, integrating LPRO camera to work for attendance. This can also be integrated with biosecurity. Then we have the employee self-log, where staff who want to be able to do the check their attendance transaction, their punch, apply for exception. They can do that from their mobile devices and even from their own PC using their user ID and their password on biosecurity. And the beautiful thing with biosecurity is that it can be integrated with third-party HRO, ERP, CRM solution. So if you worry about biosecurity not being an ERP, where you have your own ERP, you can further integrate these two solutions together to have them working seamlessly as an all-in-one solution. Talking about the facial recognition for attendance, we've talked about that before now, using your CCTV and your LPRO for attendance, and also using some other facial recognition products like the speed face that visible light that my colleague Joseph will be discussing much about later. You can use it for access control and time attendance. Flexible shift scheduling for biosecurity is a shift management whereby, say you have employees who are working 12 hours a day, or no, 12 hours is too much. Let's say 8 hours a day. I'm meant to work 8 hours a day. It doesn't matter the time I come in, as long as I'm working 8 hours. That is what matters. Flexible shift can manage such that for an employee to be captured as having worked for a day, he must have worked 8 hours. So I clock in by 12, and before I can clock out, and it will be taken as a tenable clock out, it must be 8 hours from, or 8 hours after my first clock. Flexible shift can also manage such. Multiple level approvals and automatic email alerts. So for multiple level approval, staff request leave or manual punch, and their line manager is able to get a notification that Josh has requested for a leave, Josh has requested for a manual punch, and the line manager approves or rejects that. And further, you can have another layer whereby after the line manager approves, the HRO manager approves, and the MD approves. You can create as many layers of approval as possible with our multi-level approval. You can set attendance by area or by person. By area means you want to set attendance protocols for certain location or certain area, or you want to set attendance by a specific person using unique specified protocol for that person, and reporting can be exported based on that protocol previously set. Another feature of biosecurity is the consumption management. Consumption management, we are talking about what is consumed in the office, for example, at the staff canteen. Consumption management is able to help you manage your canteen from biosecurity, such that the consumer machine becomes a clocking machine that staff use only when they want to access food from the canteen. This feature is a very good feature for our clients who are in the production and FMCG fields. Most of the FMCG companies in Nigeria that we've deployed to, they find consumption management as a very good solution that they need to manage their staff canteen. So with such, you can use the card to give staff access to the kind of meal they can have, they have access to. You can even set the timing such that from 9 o'clock till 12, nobody can access certain menu on the consumption. And you can further give other things that we see, subsidy, reduction in the cost of the food given at the canteen. These are some of the things that consumption manage. Then, for those who are very interested in getting a report of or details of the consumption, you can export your consumption report in different formats that you can use for other purposes. We talked about subsidy management, offering benefit to customers or staff, rewarding them for their loyalty. This is also another feature that the consumption management have for staff. These are some of the hardware that you can use for consumption management. I need to stress this. It's important to note that for ZKBioSecurity, for you to be able to use consumption management, not all ZK fingerprints work with consumption management. It's only our ProMax series of products that work with our consumption management. I will state it again. Not all ZK product terminals work with consumption management. Consumption management is meant to be used with the ProMax series. So this is something that our partners need to note when they are recommending consumption products to their clients. The hardware must be a fitting hardware. Another feature of biosecurity is the elevator control. Elevator control simply manages the elevator. So if you have different kind of elevator, whether the destination point elevator or different kind of elevator, the elevator control can manage that. And these are some of the features you get with the elevator control. You can give people access based on certain time zone, such that if, for example, you have let's say a 20-story building, and you want that from 5 p.m., nobody can go upward, but everybody who has gone upward before 5 p.m. can be allowed to come down. But no new person can go upward from certain time. This can also be set with ZKBioSecurity elevator control, limitation by time slot. Yet another feature is the offline and online mode management. So you don't have to worry about the elevator being offline or online, or when there is downtime, it can be managed whether it's online or offline. A unique feature that biosecurity is bringing to the table, a unique feature that I know our client would be very much interested in. Yet another feature you can have is the hotel and visitor model linkage with your access control, your elevator control rather. So how does this work? We understand that hotel is do I call it more like a public place where anyone can go in as much as they can afford the fees. So integration of hotel with elevator control ensures that your hotel hospitality system is run seamlessly. So visitors can be given access based on the set right and the right access. So if, for example, I badge in my card and I don't have access to that floor, I cannot use the elevator because the lodge I've perhaps booked is not for that elevator. So if I'm meant to be in left wing and I went to right wing and badge my card, elevator would not work for that card. These are other things integration you can do with biosecurity. Yet another feature of the biosecurity is the hotel management. What do we mean when we talk about hotel management? Hotel management is an hospitality management solution for biosecurity that you can use to manage reservation and booking as long as you're connected to the internet. You can see hotel rooms that are booked, the ones that are available, the ones that will be checked out from soon, and the ones that we are just checked out from. This is a solution that would be very helpful for those who are have clients in the hospitality region. We understand that Lagos is one place where we have several hotels, and this is a solution that would be very useful for those who want to manage hotel. The lost card function can manage a card such that if a guest that checked into a hotel loses his card, that card can be override from the system and a new card replaced. So even if you now discover the lost card does not have access to the hotel room because it has been reported as lost and deleted from the solution. We've talked about merging access control with elevator model before now. This is just further reiterating that point for hotel management. Then another unique feature we have too is the one card feature, where your access card can also be used as a guest check-in card. Though for you to work with, for you to achieve this, there are a whole lot of integration you need to do. Biosecurity merging with other hospitality management for you to be able to achieve this. So you want to check into the hotel and you want to use the same card you're using as your access card to get access to facility like the gym, like to order for food. And at the end of the day, when you're checking out, your one card becomes a solution that you use to gain different access to the facility that the hotel offers. Reporting, reporting, and reporting. For those who are very interested in getting reports on how their hotel is being run, you can also get a report on biosecurity on guest check-in, room charge, cards that are issued, the lock and the unlock record of the hotel from ZKBioSecurity hotel modules. Then visitor module of biosecurity is what we're going to be discussing about now. On visitors module, we have entry registration, exit registration, the snapshot capturing, visitors pointing statistic, and a whole lot about visitor management solution. So our visitor management solution of biosecurity is a multi-point visitor registration module that can be done from the reception, from your mobile phone, and you can send your guests even a QR code pre-registered for them to use to access the facility. So what you see on your screen is a typical setting of what you get with your visitors management process. So when the guest comes in, if they are authorized to get to the facility because they've been pre-registered, they get access either using their fingerprint, their face, or the card, or even using a QR scrambled reader. You can get your QR code that was sent to you read, and it gives you access, or you're denied access, depending on the access right that you were given by your host who invited you to the facility. Visitors module supports visible light recognition. So the visible light product that works with visitors module for self-service is the Face Kiosk H13. Face Kiosk H13 is a self-service product that visitors can use to register their face, and on registering, they get access to the facility. This solution is one solution that we've deployed in our office we are currently using to manage our visitors at ZKBioSecurity West Africa head office in Lagos. So if you want to see more of this visitor management solution, you do well to come to our office and you see this VMS working real time that you can deploy to your clients. So who are our target markets when we're talking about visitor management? Visitor management is for everybody and almost every client, from small to mid to large enterprise. We understand that Lagos is a hub for business, and most business want to be able to manage their visitors seamlessly. And with the visitor management, you can do that seamlessly so that visitors can check in. You can manage the maximum number of visitors you receive per person in a day. So for those who want to see this VMS, please do well to visit our office and see the ZKBioSecurity VMS of biosecurity in action in our office. You will be more than welcome. Then another of the products we have, features of biosecurity, is the parking solution. Parking solution integrates with other modules of biosecurity. It manages car parking, smart parking. It takes care of online parking. So with the parking solution integrated, you can also integrate your LPRO camera to work with your parking solution. So in this case, let's assume you have offices who have limited parking space, which is a problem we face in this part of the world we are. So the office wants to be able to manage staff parking because they have limited parking space. You can use your license plate to give access to a staff or reject access to a staff from parking at certain place, integrating your LPRO cameras with it. And what you see on your screen is just an example of an LPRO camera working with an LED screen to display certain features and certain characteristics for vehicle users who are coming in. Can display your company name depending on the model of LPRO camera you are using. Though for LPRO cameras that we currently use, they work with third-party LED screen. our LPR camera that come with this LED screen are currently not available. So you can use third-party LED screen to achieve this. Guard patrol management is for managing your security. So you want to ensure that your security are actually doing what they are meant to be doing, patrolling different bits at different times. Our guard patrol is integrated with biosecurity such that you can set different checking points such that at every given day, the guard must ensure that they clock in to confirm that they've patrolled that facility. This is a feature that biosecurity comes with for you to manage your security guard to ensure that they are clocking in at the place they are meant to clock in. And this work with the online access control products for managing this. Gives you real-time monitoring. It gives you the checkpoint route. So the checkpoint route, you can set, for example, in your guard patrol, the security guard needs to check the reception first, patrol the reception. Then after patrolling the reception, they will now proceed to the boardroom. Then from the boardroom, the next place you should patrol is the MD's office. You can set the route that you want your guard to patrol, normal route, routes that are out of patrol, and different features you can achieve with this guard patrol. Still on biosecurity is the VMS, video management system rather, that manage your CCTV for those who want to manage their CCTV and ensure that they get a real-time video preview, alarm linkage, and a whole lot of video decoding on your biosecurity app. So if you currently are using biosecurity and you want to still use that biosecurity for managing your video surveillance, this feature is very handy for you. So with biosecurity, you don't need to use a different software to manage your video while using a different software for your access control. So you can have biosecurity managing everything for you, managing time attendance, access control, and your CCTV, not to forget your visitor management in one software. This is just telling you the compression format that biosecurity comes in.
Hello, Josh. Can I add something regarding the video linkage?
Yes, please go ahead.
Without video linkage, the software can be able to support the Hikvision cameras, the DAWA cameras, or any other camera that support on-view functionality on it. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing that in. So if you already have a camera, you don't have to worry about if the camera is going to work with it. Like my colleague mentioned, it supports on-VIF compliant camera, not just ZKTeco products. Please, I'm going to be sharing my screen again. Okay. So, like you see, like Joseph mentioned, it supports PTZ operation and on-VIF compliant cameras. Then facial recognition feature is also available with the cameras. Facial recognition, you can do blacklisting and whitelisting. Blacklisting is somebody of interest who is a person non grata. You want to be sure that he's you are notified whenever he comes into the facility, such that there is an alarm triggered every time someone who is a person of interest comes to the facility. So, for example, let's say George visited the office the last time and fought with somebody. So, because of that, my face has been blacklisted, such that the next time I come to the office, the admin gets a notification that Josh that fought with so person is in the premise, so they need to be careful. Maybe they should just call the police before they allow Josh to come in case Josh wants to cause trouble again. Just understand, I'm not a troublemaker. I'm a gentleman. So facial recognition, people tracking, and image detection. So people tracking, you can use it for tracking certain staff. It can tell you at every given point in time where certain person is using the facial recognition and the image tracking feature. These are intelligent video features of biosecurity, intelligent video features. But it's important to note that for these features to work, your cameras that you're using must have that IVA feature. So for example, if the cameras you're using doesn't have facial recognition, don't expect facial recognition feature of biosecurity to work. So for you to use facial recognition feature of biosecurity, your camera must have that feature. Hence why ONVIF compliance cameras are recommended for this feature, because with ONVIF, you're supposed to have basic specifications or requirements available. Linkage management. By linkage management, we are talking about motion detection, alarm trigger, human detection, and a whole different linkage, such that whenever there is a tripwire, for example, you can set a parameter on your facility for sensitive places, such that when people cross this invisible tripwire, it triggers an alarm. So if you have an office, let's say places like votes where people are not meant to be parading, you can set the human detection feature such that whenever there is traffic in that place, it can trigger an alarm to notify you that people are moving in a place where they should not be moving at. We're talking about linkage management, motion detection, video loss, linkage management, tampering alarm. So when a camera has been tampered with, perhaps it has been blocked because someone is trying to carry out a heist, it gives you a notification. It detects the item, notify you of that a tampering is going on with your camera. Still on linkage management, we have the people counting, human detection, and area detection. What you see on your last screen in area detection is what we're talking about when we're talking about setting a tripwire or tagging certain area, such that if somebody is scaling through the fence or going through certain area, you get a trigger alarm. Cross-line detection, which we've also talked about. So these are the features of biosecurity. Now, let's just quickly run through the unique selling point of this product to round up this session. We've mentioned that ZKBioSecurity is a web-based access control solution that can use for time attendance and managing other solutions. It's a centralized system that can be accessed from anywhere. That's one of the unique selling points. It can be accessed from anywhere. It comes with a biohazard feature, making it highly, always available. And another feature that is a unique self biosecurity is the backup. So because biosecurity comes with an SQL server, you can back up your database and move to yet another database. The backup can be scheduled to happen automatically at specific or pre-scheduled time. Another feature is a data cleaning. Data cleaning function is designed to optimize biosecurity performance such that at specific time, the biosecurity carries out a self-cleaning and purging of unnecessary logs to keep the device running seamlessly, ensuring that not unnecessary logs are purged out of the system and only required and necessary logs are kept for set numbers of time. Security is of paramount importance. Note that biosecurity comes with the HTTPS security. So the protocol is a secure protocol for those who are concerned about security. You get email notification and automatic notification of most transactions on biosecurity, and your report can be auto exported and the email notification will be sent to you. Operation log is also another feature. You can monitor who had access, at what time, who did certain login, certain command, and at what time it was done. So you're able to track if things go wrong at certain point in time. Most important is because we understand that biosecurity, ZKTelco don't have all security products. Some people might have third-party product that they're using, third-party solution that they want to integrate. Hence why biosecurity becomes a solution that you can integrate with third-party ERPs and solution with our API to achieve an all-in-one solution. Security using the DNS, domain name server, to manage your server locally and on a wide area network. Our visible light products, which Joseph will be discussing on soon. So this is just a quick feature of biosecurity that we thought we should share with you as our partners. So next on the session now, my colleague Joseph will be talking about the products that we are recommending for biosecurity, which is our visible light product that work to deliver a turnkey all-in-one solution for your security needs. Joseph, you have the floor. Then for those of us who have questions, please, you can do well to drop your question in the writing or in the chat, please. You can drop your question in the chat section. We are going to take a question and answer session for as brief as possible. So you can keep your question coming in and we will answer to that. So the format you want to put your question is your question, then you put your question there and we'll answer your question. So Joseph, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Josh. So I'll be sharing my screen just now. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, we'll be looking at our visible light facial and cam recognition devices. So with this facial recognition, it's our facial light, visible light facial recognition terminals. We have a speed face series, and also we do have the ProFace X series. These terminals are using the intelligent engineering facial recognition algorithm and the latest computer vision. So they support multiple, the multi-verification, authentication, which will be the QR code, the face, and the palm, as well as the RFID cards. With these visible light recognition devices, as you can see from your left to the right, we're gonna have the smallest to the biggest. So the first reader will be the SpeedFace Mini, known as the SpeedFace V4L. And also with the visible light recognition, it's using the two cameras on it, which will be the infrared camera and the color camera. As you can see, this is how the device or the reader will be able to recognize or extract your feature on your face. It will be focusing on your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, your cheeks, nose, and mouth. So also the most interesting part about these readers, they are embedded with the AI technology. It has a deep learning algorithm inside. The more you use the device, the more the device will be able to learn your features on your face. If you enroll yourself successfully without any issues, and also the device has the 30 degrees post estimation. So you don't have to really look directly to the reader for it to be able to recognize you, as well as the reading distance. It can read to from 0 to 3 meters away from the reader itself. But the recommended or the effective distance will be 2 meters. As you can see here, our readers can be able to read or recognize your face, whether your face is 30 degrees left or right, up or down. As you can see, also the recognition distance is 3 meters. Also, the reader have a very nice feature inside the anti-spoofing functionality. So if you are enrolled and someone maybe tries to get your picture or an image on a tablet or a hard copy and present it to the reader will be able to tell that, okay, this is a flat image, it's not a real person. So it won't be able to give that specific person an access until a real person that is enrolled on the reader is presented in front of the camera. Also, as I've specified before, the readers do have the palm recognition. As you can see, it's a 3-in-1 palm recognition. The color camera will be able to determine your palm shape, and also with the infrared will be able to recognize your palm surface and the palm vein as well. And also the recognition of the palm will be between 0.3 seconds to be able to be recognized using your palm. As you can see, we'll be focusing on the speed phase series. As I did specify, the first one will be the speed phase mini. The second one will be the speed phase RFID. The third, the speed phase palm, and the speed phase TI. So with the speed phase mini, the nice thing about it is very cost effective. So as you can see, also when coming to the capacity, the facial templates will be less than the other speed phase series, because this one is very cost effective and can be utilized maybe in a small business. But if you want to look more on the bigger scale of the business, that's when you can focus on this other speed phase RFID, the palm and the TI. And also these readers are the standalone readers. You don't need any third-party controller to be able to manage your doors. So these readers have a built-in relay inside of them. And also, as you can see, all these readers do support the card capacity. And the nice thing about these readers, they are embedded with 2 SDKs inside. The system development tool, which is for access, push, and the time and attendance. So you can use these readers for whether you want to use it for only access control or time and attendance. And also the nice thing, all of them come with the built-in Wi-Fi inside. So you don't have to always run your wires to be able to communicate to the reader. As long as you have a Wi-Fi stable one, then you can use your Wi-Fi. And also the nice thing, they do have the output and input, which you can connect the weekend readers on them as well. And the nice thing about the speed phase TI, it's a temperature device. In case of since we are in the pandemic, you can be able to use the reader to determine the temperature of that specific user. If the temperature is above average, it will be able to recognize that user, but it will say, okay, your temperature is high, then that's when it can be able to send the notification to the software. Then that's when the HR or the admin can be able to attend to that person. Okay, your temperature is this, then maybe they can use an external scanner just to verify that, okay, your temperature is high. Also, as you can see, these readers do have the QR codes inside embedded. So you don't have to physically use the cards if you don't want to. And also the nice thing, they do have the mask detection. You can be able to enable the mask detection on the reader. In case of, if you are not wearing a mask, the reader will be able to tell, okay, I can recognize Josh, but Josh did not wear a mask. So I'm not gonna give Josh access to this specific access point until Josh wear a mask. Then that's when it will be able to give Josh access. Also, the nice thing about this, it does have the multiple verifications. So in case of this, this is when you can maybe avoid the people giving access to users. So in this case, you can use the palm and the face before the device can give you access, or the face and the card for it to be able to give you access. Then we'll be moving to the pro face. A big brother of the speed phase series, and also it's IP rated, IP68 rated. So you can be able to install this reader outdoor or outside. And also we do offer the rain shield and the standoff box that is outside for you to be able to use this reader outside. But with the Prophase XTI, it will be indoor, it won't be IP rated because of the thermal sensor on top of it for temperature scanning. And the nice thing about this, as you can see, this one is more robust and it can be able to take up to 30,000 facial templates and 5,000 palm templates. The capacity is more bigger than the SpeedFace series. Also, they do come with the Wi-Fi built-in, the same feature that the SpeedFace series do have, the Prophase do have, but only the capacity is more and the other one is IP rated. Also, you can be able to use these readers for weather access or attendance, depending on the solution that you want to run with. As you can see, I did specify before that our readers do have the input and output. You don't need any third-party controller to be able to open a door or connect anything to it. So as you can see, the first one, you can be able to connect the door sensor, the exit button, or the alarm output in case of emergencies. Also, for the weekend readers, you can be able to connect our readers to the third-party controller if you need to. As you can see on the second image there. On the third image, this is where you can be able to connect the lock relay. So our readers do have, you can be able to connect it to a Mac lock, a turnstile, a flip barrier, a SIM barrier. So you can be able to use our readers directly with those accessories. Also, you can be able to connect the slave readers only to the SpeedFace Palm and the TI because they do have the fingerprint on them. So this slave support the fingerprint and the card. Then we'll be looking at the thermal imaging terminals, which will be the SpeedFace TI and the Prophase TI. As you can see, they do support the mass detection. You can use the face, the palm. Also, it can determine the temperature. You can use the QR code or the RFID. These are the readers that I will be specifying or that I did specify before. As you can see, this one also have a fingerprint, but with the Prophase, it doesn't support the fingerprint. That's the only difference, and also the capacity. Then when we look at the thermal image advantages, as you can see, it does have the ultra wide angle temperature measurement. And also it can be able to take your temperature from up to 120 centimeters away from the device. Also, it does have the multi-point temperature checks on you. You can be able to increase the temperature detection speed on the reader as well. And the effective distance for the temperature readers, for temperature, as you can see, is between 30 to 120 centimeters. And for the palm, and for the palm is between 30 to 50 centimeters. And for the face is between 0.3 to 2 meters effective distance. But this is for recognition. It's not for the enrollment. Then also for the temperature readers, as I did specify before, the indoor readers. So for you to be able to get the exact or the good temperature reading, you need to be able to avoid this. Avoid the direct sunlight, avoid bright light reflection on the reader itself, and also it should be installed on a controlled environment. And also you need to install it indoors, not outdoors. As you can see, the perfect facial enrollment, if you want to successfully enroll the user and you have any issues, basically it's like having or to enroll or get a proper ID photo or a photo that has no background or it's clear background. Also, when you enroll someone, there shouldn't be anyone behind that person or any obstacles on that image when you enroll the person. Also, if you are a woman, try not to put your hair in your face to cover your nose, your eyes, or your eyebrows. So your face should be clearly visible to the camera of the reader. Also, you don't have to have a shadow on your face, so your face should be accurately matched all around. Also, on biosecurity, if you don't want to enroll a user directly on the reader, what you can do, you can just take them a proper ID photo, then upload it to the software. Then the software will be able to generate a proper facial template to each of the readers if you will be using different visible light readers. As you can see here, these are not so good facial enrollment examples. So when you enroll, you don't have to have any facial expression. You don't have to wear your glasses or tilt your head or put anything in your face. As you can see here, these are not so good facial enrollment examples because you will struggle to be able to the device to recognize you. Also, for the perfect palm enrollment, as you can see, you need to open your fingers or your whole palm so that the reader can be able to recognize your palm successfully. And the enrollment should be, I will say, the recommended distance for enrolling, it will be 30 centimeters away from the device. Then the device will be able to recognize your palm successfully. And also, as you can see, these are examples of how to not enroll the palm on the reader. As you can see, the first one, you don't have to close your palm or your hand to enroll. Also, it should be firmly correct. As you can see here, these are really bad examples of how you shouldn't enroll the palm on the reader. As you can see, these are the accessories for the Proface XP specifically. You can be able to use it for entrance control, for vehicle entrances, maybe at an estate or office park. We do have provide distance as well, because the Proface XP is IP rated, so it can be usable outdoors as well. As you can see also, this, you can be able to install it maybe at your reception, but outside. Here, this is the rain shield for the Proface XP as well. Then also for the Proface and Speedface, we do have the indoor stand. If you don't want to mount the reader on the wall inside, this is where you can be able to mount the reader on the indoor stand. So these are our 4 touchless verification technologies: the face palm, QR code, and RFID. Josh, you may take over.
Thank you very much, Joseph. We really appreciate you for what you've done.
Thank you.
And, yeah. So at this point, we're going to be taking a quick poll for us to get the feedback from you. Please, you want to endeavor to fill the pool because it will help us serve you better in the future. So I'm going to be launching the pool now before we take question and answer. Please, you do well to want to take the pool to give us feedback on how to serve you better. And after we've gotten good participation in the pool, we are done. We'll move to the Q&A session. We'll be taking some questions that has been asked from the chat, and maybe take other questions in view of time. So go ahead and take the pool question, please.
Visible light. We are really making really good process with the visible light, because since COVID hit, no one wants to use the fingerprint access control. They want to go touchless because of the hygienic and all that, so that they won't be able, there won't be any infection of COVID and so forth. So for visible light, I will really recommend to use it.
So generally, what has been some challenges in your region that customers have brought in regards to visible light, and how have you been able to manage it so far? What has been the results?
So far, I wouldn't say we had any big issues. The big issue that we had with the visible light is, I will say, most of our clients were not more enlightened with the visible light. They didn't know how to use the reader correctly. So after we explain everything and we take them how should they implement the solution to their client or to their businesses, that's when they could be able to tell, okay, this is how I should be able to use the reader. Then after that, everything was just moving smoothly, no issues.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joseph. So the reason why I asked that question, because I understand that in Africa, South Africa is one of the regions where the visible light is selling very well. And so one of the reasons why we are having our colleagues, our counterparts from the South Africa region is because they are doing well in that market, and hence the reason why we are inviting them to tie into this session today to for our partners to hear what the success you guys have experienced in your region and how we too can also use that as a basis to also optimize our region. We understand that Nigeria is a major market, and because of that, we want to see how best we can maximize and harness our potential in Nigerian market. Hence why we're having such collaboration with our colleagues from other subsidiaries. I really appreciate you, Joseph, and I really appreciate you, Rotondwa. In fact, we are really grateful for this session. Thanks so much. So while we are still waiting for
and also with a global anti-pass bag. For the global anti-pass bag, you can create the anti-pass bag between different readers or devices on the software. So if you have 10 readers, you need to create the global anti-pass bag, which means the anti-pass bag will be between those 10 readers at once.
So that would be for global anti-pass bag if it's on a different controller, right?
Yes.
So, Mr. Marvelous, I believe that answered your question. Thank you so much, Joseph. Mr. Delight, don't worry. You would get contacted by the someone from my colleague from the sales team on the price list. You sent your email accordingly. Then Mr. Delight still also has a question. The question has been answered. Then we have another question. Is concerning motion detection. Is the feature only on biosecurity, or the camera needs to have that feature in its interface? Okay, so for motion detection, yeah, if you listen during the session, we mentioned something about IVA feature, and we mentioned something about ONVIF. ONVIF is just like a level, how do I explain it? It's like a body in charge of standardizing cameras, right? ONVIF camera, for a camera to be termed ONVIF means it has gotten to certain standard, right? And for you to have a camera to be termed an ONVIF camera, it should have certain IVA features. By IVA, we mean intelligent video analysis feature. So if your camera has a motion detection on it, it would work with biosecurity for your motion trigger, where you get an alarm triggered accordingly when a motion is detected. So the camera needs to have that feature for it to work with a biosecurity. So if the camera, if you're using, I doubt these days there's any camera that doesn't have a motion detection though, because most cameras come with motion detection. So I believe that should answer your question. Or I don't know if Joseph or Ruto has anything to add to that.
That's correct, Josh.
I believe I've answered that question. The next question is, someone is asking about security is per annum or is a perpetual license? Biosecurity is actually, it's not a perpetual license. You are charged based on the model you're getting, and also based on certain time. I think you are charged annually, depending on the license you're getting. You can also increase your the charge time.
Josh, can I answer the question regarding the AD? I see a question that says, apart from the import feature that the biosecurity has with AD, can the user be deleted from AD while it's automatically delete or disable the user from the biosecurity?
Go ahead.
Answer your question with the AD, yes, the moment you delete a user from your Active Directory site, it will automatically sync to the biosecurity and it will delete that user also on the software.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Then the next question is, can I link ZKBioAccess control system to fire alarm system or any product of the location I installed? If I get your question correctly, Mr. Martin, yeah, your answer is yes. You can link other third-party alarm system to biosecurity and most of our access control products. So you can link third-party alarm and other exit button and others to it. Yes, you can do that.
Okay, Josh, can I take another question here?
Please go ahead.
I have a speed face that shows wrong pictures when granting access to a registered user. It becomes normal after doing a reset, but resurface after some time. What is the cause? So with our speed face or visible light devices, there is a function inside the reader where you can be able to adjust the threshold. The more the threshold is less, which means it will mismatch the picture. So the threshold, you need to adjust it. For the default one is 74. Just try to adjust it to 76. That function is under system, under face, where it says one-to-many face, the comparison, the threshold. This is where you need to adjust it to be 76 or 77 so that the face can match exact user. But the moment you lower the threshold, the more you're gonna have issues of recognizing the correct user under a correct profile on the device.
Thank you very much, Joseph. So you just need to increase your threshold. Like Joseph rightly mentioned, it's best to use at least, for most times, if I'm setting the threshold for speed face or pro face, I usually use 75% and above. Else, anything less than that, you might get someone that looks like me signing in as me. So you need to increase your threshold. You can increase your threshold for facial recognition. You can increase your threshold for palm reading. And I think that's about the threshold you can increase. Intensity for your palm to be read. The threshold the threshold simply means the accuracy, how accurate you want it to be. If you want it to be 75% accurate, 80%, so that would solve that problem. I see my colleague Roto is already answering some question on the chat about the license. Yeah. So for those who are, yeah, go ahead, Joseph.
I see another question. Do you have a web-enabled speed face reader? With the speed face reader, we don't have any web interface for it because it's a standalone. It has a screen. You can be able to configure everything on the reader itself. Unlike the in-bio controller where it has a web interface, you can be able to use the IP address to log in inside the controller and change the settings manually. So.
Thank you very much. Then somebody is asking, Mr. Victor is asking why our time attendants cannot connect to a computer with supporting software without extracting data. Mr. Victor, I beg to correct you, sir. As a matter of fact, we don't even recommend that people copy attendance information from a device directly using USB. It is recommended that most time attendants are connected to software. For time attendance, the last session we had, we focused on time attendance using BioTime. And it's important to note that when we're talking about time attendance, we have two major software that takes care of time attendance. We have the BioTime and we have the ZKTimeNet. These are two software that takes care of time attendance in all its entirety. So yes, we have several products, several of our time attendance products that you can connect to your PC for you to check reports. You don't need to use USB to copy it. It's not even recommended using USB to copy. It is best to connect your time attendance to your software. Hence, you're able to do your reporting and see a whole breakdown report of your attendance. Someone is asking, Mr. Tomitope, can your ZK MB460 be used for a company that has 6 locations? The answer is yes. MB460 works with Biotime 8.0. And because it's working with Biotime 8.0, it can be used for multi-location. You can access the time attendance and the database of your employee accordingly. But important to note is that with ZKTeco, we just launched a product that we're going to be hitting the market with, which is the Biotime Cloud. Because of the challenge we have in terms of configuring the Biotime to work with a public IP and requirements in our market, Biotime Cloud is going to solve that problem. So yes, MB460 can be used for multiple locations. Someone is asking a question, Mr. Martin, can I use HID readers on ZKTeco controller? Of course you can. You can use that.
Also, Josh, can I take this question here?
Go ahead, please.
It's from, it says, which is the ability for the all-powerful ZKBioSecurity system to integrate with the third-party system. So now, what I would like to have more information is, what is the process, start the integration and the pricing, which means for that one, Josh, will have to take it over with your sales regarding the pricing and the processes of it.
No problem. So for the person asking that question, please do want to reach out to your account manager, the sales guys. They would contact you and tell you everything you need for that integration. And
also for the same question, for you to be able to integrate to the third-party systems, you will need an API. So Josh will be able to communicate with their sales team for that. Then you can be able to use the third-party system integrated to our ZKBioSecurity software.
Thank you very much. So I believe we've taken most of the question. For those who might want to ask, Mr. Mike, do you have a question? Mr. Mike, go ahead, please. Mr. Mike, I think you're muted. Come in, let me. You can mute now, Mr. Mike.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I don't have question for now because you are already following up some things that I'm having some issues. I'm fine. The webinar is very interesting.
Thanks so much.
Okay, Josh, I see another one with the license for biosecurity. So the license for biosecurity is a once-off payment. You don't have to pay every month. It doesn't have any subscription. It's only a permanent license, once-off license.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that clarification. Mr. Frank Ehebale, I didn't answer your question. Can you, Mr. Frank, can you ask your question, please? Mr. Frank, can you unmute? What's your question? Did I miss your question? Mr. Frank, I've given you access to unmute. Please, can you unmute?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was asking, thank you, everyone. I just wanted to ask, how can the biosecurity software estate people living in an estate, you know, you were just focusing more on companies, on hotels and the rest of them. What about people who are in an estate? Because I have 1 or 2 clients there who participated, and he's really interested to know how the biosecurity can help them solve some of their security problems in the estate.
So let me just run you quickly through
Hello, Josh, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Let me run you quickly through on the biosecurity for estate. Then we'll be rounding up the session in the next two minutes because we are running out of time already. And we are time attendance, so we don't want to take much post time. So we're rounding up soon. On the biosecurity for hotel for estate management, you can manage access. You can manage access. You can give your guests access via QR code or via password, depending on the readers you have deployed there. Okay, So that is something that you need to come over to the office or discuss with your account guy. We would meet and tell you what you can achieve for managing estate with biosecurity. So with the visitor management, for example, you can do a reservation, send an invite to a guest, the guest fills his details, and on filling his details, he sent a QR code that you can use to access the facility. The QR code reader can be connected, the readers like the Speedface QR or the Proface QR can be connected to your turnstile. So with such QR reader controlling the turnstile, you can use that QR code to access the facility. Also, further integrating the Speedface and the face kiosk, you can even use self-service such that when the visitors come in, they are registered at the entrance and they use their face as a sign-in template to access the facility as much as they've been given the approval and they have been audited and passed the audit. So these are just other scenarios for the estate management. We should talk after this session to discuss further on that, please. So I want to thank everyone once again for this session. We are very, very grateful that you've been able to tie in.